Okay, so we're going to get ready now and um, begin the polishing stage. I'm just going to go 3 banks, 600 grit, 1,200 grit, 1,200 grit, 3,000 grit, and then we'll take another look at it and see how it's progressing. 600 grit. So the key for the polishing is making sure that you go all the way through every bit of the surface that you previously grind. The thing about rock cutting and grinding, that's the hardest part, is patience. And there's often a tendency that you want to rush through to get to the next step, And then when you get to the final, you look at it, you realize there's scratches and imperfections in there that you're not able to get out over there anymore. So you really want to get them out right here. And 600 is kind of like the last one, because it doubles the size of grit to 1,200. Then it doubles again to 3,000. Then it doubles again to 800. So as you get to a more higher grit level, it becomes harder to remove the material off the stone face, so that you end up over there with little scratches and imperfections that you have to come back to and try to get out again. You don't want to overgrind, obviously, because every time you grind, just like I told you when you're grinding metal, every grind is removing material, and you're making it thinner and thinner, or smaller and smaller. So every time you're grinding, you always keep that in mind. You want to get the edges, and I like to hold this nice parallel to the face of the wheel, so that when I rotate it, that edge seat, or the side of the cabochon, is nice and perpendicular to the bottom when it sits. So when it sits, you'll have a nice shoulder for the bezel to raise up on. Tell you what, let me bring it in a little tighter so you can see it. Yeah, it's starting to get nice. So let me take it to the next level. Now 1,200 grit. So what you just saw me do is I started with an angle going feeding into the wheel like this. So I'm getting the edge. I'm starting with the edge and I'm grinding that down slightly, not a lot. And then as I do that, I'm moving this the bezel. I mean the dopstick, the brass rod. I'm moving it more and more and more and more until it's really perpendicular to the wheel. I'm doing it slightly. I don't know if you're noticing, but as I'm grinding, I'm moving it so that as I rotate the stone around the wheel, I'm getting more and more of the surface to the center of the stone. So I'll show you again. Rotate it around a couple times. Change the angle. Rotate it a little bit more. Now I'm getting more of the top surface. Rotate the angle again. Coming nicely polished. And now I'm going to do 300 or 3,000. Turn the water on. Move the light a little bit out of the way so you can see it. I'm just going to repeat what I just did over here at the 1200. I'll repeat that with 3000. I'm trying to do it so you can see the stone. So when you're rotating around on the edge, what you don't want to do is, as you're grinding it, pause while the stone's still on the wheel, because as you do, it's grinding a flat. And you want to keep the stone moving. Always want to keep the stone moving. You never want to let it sit. Like I say, once you let it sit, it's gonna start grinding a flat. So you want to prevent that. You want the stone to keep moving around. That's why I kind of dance it around the grinding wheel like this. I'm not pressing up real hard. I'm just kind of laying the stone up against the wheel and letting the wheel do its job. So that's good. So I'm going to stop here, pause, take a little break. I'm going to let the stone dry, turn off the pump, and we'll look at it a little bit later. I am seeing a little bit of black imperfection there, and I don't know if that's going to come through or if it's just on the surface, but it might be something that we have to live with. Every stone's going to have little imperfections. Even some of the best diamonds in the world are proven to be a diamond only because they do have some imperfections. So stones that have imperfections are the way you tell if it's a natural stone or not. A lab created or a synthetic stone will have almost zero imperfections, and then you got to question yourself, what's going on. Anyway, let me take a pause and I'll get back.